Hey, Christina.
Hello.
Nice to
Hey,
see you again. It's been uh years, I think, right?
gosh, when was the last time we actually worked together? Was it 2018?
Something like that. It was that like weird donut creature movie.
Yes. It was the times of I think there was a lot of projects funded by I think Chinese companies, right? From what I remember, there was like a lot of those studios popping up here and there, and it was great running into and
Yeah.
getting oh. So
That was with Afghani, which he's awesome. He's a lot of fun to work with. And yeah, we were just I remember the view was we could see Disney feature
yes,
from
yes. From it's
like
so ironic that afterwards I went to work across the street
yeah.
at Marvel from then on.
Is
Were
that
you
what you
there at
did
that
right
time?
after?
Huh?
Is that what you did right after that movie?
Yeah. Afterwards I What If was just starting and I interviewed with Paul and then I mean, I didn't know anything about the project. It's just like, it's what Paul is saying, I guess, would love to see what they're doing, and yeah, I really don't regret, joining them because it was such an awesome team to work for.
Yeah.
It's so rare.
I want to like hear a lot more about that, but first I want to can we start with like how you first got into art? Like as a kid, was there a time or was there something that you like your first sketchbook or like
Uh,
how did you get into art?
Actually, I was not an artist initially. Um, I was, born and raised in Ukraine, and we had like across the street. So there was a building. So the music school was on that one side, and the art school was on the other. And my mom gave me to the musical school because, like, I love music, like, playing piano and stuff like that. Singing was always something I was into. So, like throughout, like since 8 years old, I've been going to music school, but the art school was right next to it. And I had a friend who would go to the art school, and I once went into it, and the work was so, I remember it was so inspiring, like so mind-blowingly cool. And I'm like, damn it, like I want to learn how to do that, Like, because it was just so like it's one thing when like I compose music, and when I close my eyes and I'm making the music, I imagine the world, the world building as I'm creating the music, but I didn't know how to make it. So then afterwards, I was doing a lot of watercolors just on my own. I never had any training or anything. Then when I came to US, I realized that there was this thing called graphic design because everybody just know graphic design. Nobody even knows about like concept art or visual development, or anything like that. So yeah, I was like, let me go find out what this graphic design is all about. And then, yeah, I just kind of got into this niche market, like niche craft. Went to art center. It was really intense for somebody who doesn't have much background in art. But it was a hell of a training, honestly. Everybody was so, you know, talented, like had years beyond me. So it was a lot of kick ass,
Yeah.
ass kicking. Or how you say
Getting
it?
your ass kicked.
Yes, it was all the time. It was just really intense. But I think that I lost so many friends because of that period of my life. Because I mean, frankly, all I did is work, 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 day and night. You were at work. It's just like, and yeah, it just like I mean, it paid off. I learned a lot. I took a bunch of classes later on at CDA Academy.
Mhm.
That's actually where I learned how to paint. At that time, ArtCern wasn't really good at teaching like just digital paint. So I had to take like CDA classes, Red Engine classes, learn how like concept art and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And yeah, and my job was first job was at Paramount. And yeah, from then on, it just kind of I found myself and here and there project wise.
Yeah.
How about you?
Um, Sorry.
How about you?
Um, getting into animation.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I went to like a shitty art school in like upstate New York. It was just
Okay.
an hour. It was like an hour away from my family, and it seemed like at the time I had no clue. Like I was like, okay, I have to go to an art school and try to do this as an artist. And so I studied illustration there, and yeah, like you, is the school didn't teach it. They didn't do a good job teaching you how to paint or like fundamentals, or
Was it like all airbrush,
they had like a traditional airbrushing class.
but not digital?
No,
Because
we didn't
everything on
really.
the center painting wise was just airbrush.
Oh yeah, we had a digital painting teacher, and all his stuff was like create a shape and then hit it with an airbrush. So all his stuff was like,
Very cut out. I mean, you could kind of get some cool stuff like that, you know,
yeah, but
what
it's
you're doing.
not painting. It's like, yeah. But anyways, I took like schoolism classes for 3 years after graduating. And yeah, I just worked my ass off. I made a really strict schedule for myself, like getting up at like 4 a.m., just studying, watching classes, doing portfolio pieces. And I did that every single day. Um, and I kept like remaking my portfolio and putting it online. And then once it was good enough, I started getting emails from studios. And
Very
my first job was Real Effects on the
yeah.
Scooby Doo movie.
Really?
Yeah.
But isn't Scooby-Doo a Warner Brothers project or were they like vendors? I don't know how did that work?
Yeah, it's Warner Brothers. But Warner Brothers didn't want to, they hired Real Effects to do the art, like make the whole movie. So yeah, like a vendor.
I see. Huh. That's fascinating. Was it before they did that? God, what was that first movie that they did produce their original IP,
Um,
Book of Life?
oh yeah, Book of Life. Yep. That was right before. And so yeah, I think at that time Real Effects was like they were very they were like going up. They were like, oh, we just did Book of Life, which was amazing. Um and then yeah, when I was there, they were working on a couple other features as well. And yeah, I don't really know what they're doing now, but
Yeah, me too. I haven't heard from them in a
yeah.
while. There's so many like smaller studios that kind of emerged, and I haven't really heard from them in a while. It's kind of hard to believe we've been in the industry for that long. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I just entered but then the other day I was doing the math. I'm like, shit, like it's been like over a decade. I'm like, wow, that's it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I just hit 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the movie you worked on at Paramount, what movie was that?
It was, I was hired, I was hired to be on, gosh, what was that? Wonder Park.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
it was like their first movie that they were doing. Like, it was a time when Paramount decided to do, like, you know what? We're gonna start doing animation. And they hired a bunch of, people from Disney, DreamWorks, and decided to do the kind of their own animation studio. And Wonder Park was their like first feature animation project.
Mhm.
I was kind of hired to be on a different project. That Leo DeSalvo, he at that time he was the head of Paramount. He liked my work and he wanted to kind of do he was head of development, so he had a project that he was developing and he wanted like a specific style to it. So I think I was hired on Wonder Park. So from then on, so I could go to development when the time is right. It was fun to be kind of both in development and in production. They're very different in terms of, like in development, there's a lot of coming up with blue sky ideas, right? Coming up with styles and I love the freedom of that, but it's a bit different because there's not the timeline of production, you know? So it's kind of interesting to see like be in a production where it's like every Friday you have to turn in something, and then the development is a bit different. But yeah, and then I was at Paramount for a while, and then they had like this whole, like every time the industry re kind of what do you call it, resets itself,
Hmm.
and Paramount had like a change of leadership at that time, a major reshow, like change of industry. So the leaders, the change of the head. So yeah, from then on, just had to go. I guess my next thing was Wink.
Oh yeah. Do you do you remember how you got your job at Paramount? Did you meet someone or
Actually, it's a funny one because we were at CTN at that time when that was a thing.
yeah,
Uh,
now it's a ghost town?
yeah. Um, yeah, like it's actually funny how that worked because like we were in one of those like CTN mixers and somehow like Lena DeSalvo, who was like the head of Paramount at that time, was like having a conversation with a few people and John, who was my husband, but he was my boyfriend at the time. He's like, you should show your portfolio to him. And like, we didn't even know who he is, honestly. Like, we had no idea. And yeah, I had my iPad, it's like fresh out of school. I'm like, I would love to show you my work, and he was, gracious enough to, take a look at it. And it happens to be, I mean, by pure luck, it happens to be the style he was looking for. And yeah, that was it. That's the thing that kind of got me in. And I know a lot of people, especially like new students, that are trying to get into the industry. It's it's hard to get the recruiters. I mean, it's because I just feel like there's just such a big flow of people. There's so many, you're just a number, you know what I mean? There's no personal connection with the recruiter. So at times you, you kind of you fall through the cracks and it's really hard to get through them. Um, I totally know what that feels like because I went through that. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know if you went through the same kind of defeating, whole cycle of getting through, knocking the doors constantly type of thing. But honestly, like I think social part of it, like meeting people, and not even to get a job, it's connecting with the person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to explain it. Like when I'm the art director, for example, yes, I do want people that are good, obviously. I'm looking for people who can hit the style that we're doing, but I want to be able to hang out with you, you know?
Hmm.
Like, and that's such a big thing for me. It's the culture building. I think for me as the leader, that comes first. And to see if you fit into that culture, if I connect with you, it's such a big, thing for me. So I don't know. What do you think? Is that something that you gravitate towards?
Yeah, 100%. If someone is like some people are just kind of like confrontational and you can see like right away.
Yes, 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 yes. I totally know it.
Yeah, I'm like you will never be able to work in a team. Like it'll be impossible for you because when someone tells you something, your response is like to argue or defend yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like yeah, so the working in a team is so important. you just need to be open to any idea. Like we're not criticizing your work, or we're not criticizing you, we're criticizing
Yeah.
your work. So don't like take it personally.
And it's kind of also like the common goal, like how do we as a group reach this impossible goal that production gave us? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I find like the hardest shows with the right people, it has a way of uniting everybody, like very, very, like, because throughout all that struggle, you're like nerve-wracking.
Bond over the pain.
But it's like, I mean, I remember like some shows that were like that. When it's the right leadership and it has the right people on it, if it, no matter how hard it is, and no matter how crazy the timeline is, you still end up kind of conquering or going through it because the management is like, clear direction, having like just overall the vibe of the group is really important. So yeah, it's just like I think that it's, don't just knock on the recruiter doors, just try to find meet people, like on Livebox and stuff like that, like, approach people and not just for this, like show the portfolio and stuff. I mean, you can start it out like that, but it's just like to talk to people and that you connect with them. Then from then on, show your work, it connects, you go forward. You know what I mean? It's just kind of, that's what I've realized that worked for me, I guess.
Yeah. I usually tell people post like a ton of work online
Yes.
consistently, and you'll just naturally start to connect with artists and the industry.
Yeah.
And I think for me, Jake Panion, I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He he was someone who I met like early on, like online, and he saw that like every day I was posting a new painting, and then we started talking, and then I met him at CTN when I went, and he introduced me to people at Blue Sky, and when Blue Sky was still a studio, and
Were
yeah,
you
that was
from the East Coast or you were already here at that time?
I was in New York still,
Mhm.
but I came to CTN. I
I see.
flew, um, and then once I got a job, I came over here.
I
So
see.
yeah, so even if you don't live in LA, you can still make connections online, and then you just those become friends, and you kind of look out for each other because movies always are looking for artists. So if you are kind of friends with people, they can let you know when there's a position opener. They can show your portfolio to
Yes,
someone.
that's true. Honestly, honestly, it's the best way to get in. I've never went through the recruiter.
Yeah, I spent years sending
Everywhere.
my portfolios and didn't get a single response ever. No
Not
internship, nothing. I was like, wow, I must really suck.
not to talk down on recruiters. I mean, they try their best. It's just like there were times like when we were still at, on What If, God, we were desperate for artists. Desperate, Zach. Like we were like, dude, we need artists now. And like the artists that they would show us, like it would like it was not would not even hook up with our style.
Talking about what if right now?
Like it was just nowhere near. Like some of them was just beginners. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying that I don't know that there's something off with the QCing at times when it comes to, what I mean? Because that's why I'm like, you're right. Like, posting, because that's how we found our people. We went and online and searched, the people, or the friend of the friend knew somebody who was looking for work. It was all recommendation. And that was like honestly the best way, because then you like the person and they're probably gonna bring in a person that they like that you will probably like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of, word of mouth type of thing. So yeah, I'll go make friends.
Yeah.
A lot of friends.
No. So okay, you were art director on What If, right?
Yeah.
And how did so could you find how is like recruiting, how did that work? Did they allow you to you find like someone from the outside, did they allow you to hire them, or were they like, here's the list of people you can only choose from this list?
God, I hope that wasn't the case. Is that a case usually? Jesus, because that would be really hard sometimes.
When I was art directing at a studio, they would not let me hire anyone. I gave them like a list of people I wanted to hire that'd be like perfect for the movie. And they were like, no, you have to pick from this list.
Right, that doesn't make any sense.
I was like, do you want me to make this movie look good? Like,
It's so weird. I see like that. I have such an issue with that. I mean, because like, yeah, I don't understand when they think that they know what you want or what you need.
yeah.
Because you are in charge of art, you know, you need to build your team. They're not going to build your team. You need to build your team. You need to interview your team. You need to find your clicks. You need to find your, because the reason why I mention it because I feel like, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but for me, like when you're in leadership position, it's like entering the war in a way. It's like you're being drafted. And like like the war is like time and money, trying to like achieve this impossible task. So it looks good, everything is flowing right. So I don't think we have time to like have any dramas, in our department because there's just no time. All you need to do is just work and move forward. And the best people that you or like, I mean, I would just keep hiring my friends because I already know what they're good at. I know their strengths and I know their weaknesses. So it'll make me faster to just give them whatever they need to do so we can move forward. So I don't understand that logic. Was it the people that already work in the studio and they try to kind of like recycle them? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it was either people already at the studio or people that they have like in the system, like freelance artists that they have worked with before. I think it was that's the easiest for them because the artists are already in the system. They don't have to do the extra paperwork and stuff. It's just like, oh, you can just come on. It's quick and easy.
Hmm.
Um,
God, what did you do? But
well, what
hire people?
I had a few like incredible artists, so I'm very like thankful for that. But um, there was a lot, like probably half the team wasn't really up to. I couldn't really trust them. I couldn't give them
Yeah,
assignment and like trust them to like do it. So it was a lot of like recording tutorials. I
yeah,
remember
we
teaching
did that
people
too.
perspective. I was like, you should probably know basic
Oh,
perspective.
really?
Um, teaching like color temperature, like just kind of like the fundamentals, just so everyone could kind of like paint something that, felt like a decent painting that we could use. So it was a ton of extra work
But that
for me.
sucks. That's not your job. I mean, it is your job to give direction, but not to teach
Yeah.
when you have a deadline. I mean, in that case, I always make this argument. Hey, sure, I'll hire whatever whoever you want me to hire, but you give me time to get to know them and train them, get them up to speed. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because it's only fair. Like when we started on our show, we didn't have time to develop style. It was like we're already in production. We don't even have a style yet, Zach. We are already in production.
What?
It's insane. Like, how is it humanly possible, like to do that? And we, it was like Paul hired a lot of his friends because, again, he knows I did not know him, but like as one of the few that he didn't know. But most of those people that he hired were his friends, and he already knew, who's good at what. So I think that was one of the ways he was able to at least, get the first season out of the door.
Mhm.
But it was rough. The first season was very rough. That's why like it didn't look as good as we wanted to. But like, second season was a lot better because like we have a bit more time. We already like had a very good team. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough when that's the case because how do I see, like, this is like the unnecessary politics that I hate in our industry, you know?
Yeah.
It's like just because you don't want to do extra work hiring and firing person, when I hire paperwork,
Mm.
then you get to be with a person that you may need to teach perspective to, because that kind of shouldn't be the case, in my opinion. I probably shouldn't say too much, because
Well, yeah, it's no, you're fine. So what was your role? Because I've found like the movies that work the best is when um like your production designer, he or she can handle like um like the design part, and then they hire an art director that complements them. So the art director does like more of the color and lighting or something. Did you have like a nice like relationship like that?
Yeah, no, it's so when I came in, I was an artist, and again, because we didn't have a style guide, we didn't have a style. So I kind of was tasked with finding a style for the show. So I kind of established a painting style with Paul, and that kind of got me into the leadership position, and I was in charge of paint for a long time. Um,
So paint is someone does the design, like the
yeah,
layout drawing, and then you
yeah,
color basically.
e-
Okay.
exactly, because it was such a like crazy show because we had like three different vendors, and we were working on multiple episodes at the same time, and a big team. So, and then the team of the vendors as well, because we had to teach them how to do the style and all that. So I was in charge of paint. Cynthia Haley, my co-art director, which is working with you, she was in charge of layout. And Paul was kind of overseeing the whole thing. Because then on top of that, there were comp reviews, there were DI sessions, because it was just no way to do all of that alone. So and then there were also reviews that would come from other, studios that would have to kind of do paint overs, finish the paintings or finish the layouts because it was just not in the right perspective, or the lighting is wrong, it doesn't hook up, and or it was done poorly. So, all that stuff. So that's something I was doing in the beginning. And then later I switched to doing layout because I was doing production design on another show at Marvel that was canceled, unfortunately. Um, so yeah, it was like a bit of a break. I broke off from What If. I was doing another show, and then that got canned. So then I went back. I'm like, okay, I'm sure I'll take over layouts. Then I was doing layout, all the previous reviews and doing drawers. Then Ryan Magno, my other art director, later on that joined us because Cynthia Haley left. So yeah, it was just a lot of kind of jumping back and forth, and we had like a very good rapport with our coworkers. Like we helped each other. We never worked against each other. Like there was no political anything amongst ourselves. Because honestly, like we were all very transparent, and like there was really no ego. There's no point of having ego. It was all about how do we do this? How do we do it efficiently? And that's actually one of the things that I love doing, and in management that I didn't think I would enjoy is like strategy on how to strategize, like what team can do this while that other team can do that. And how do we, I love that whole thing is like orchestrating, you think it was a lot of fun. We had good people, so it makes you this is what I'm saying. Like when you work with the right people, you concentrate on the work and not the political, aspect to it. Because political aspect to it, it kind of is energy draining. I don't know what do you think about it?
Yeah.
Did you
Definitely.
have bad experiences like doing one thing and then the other person does the other?
Yeah. Um, like before I started in animation, I always heard of like, oh, you're gonna have to like play politics a little bit, and I never like understood what that meant. I was like, what is
What do you mean?
that? We're just doing art. Um, then once you get into it, you realize sometimes. you see people around you, they're like sucking up to certain people, or they know
Yeah,
how to talk to certain people. It's almost
yeah.
like acting. They know like
I hate that so much.
they have like a script and they're like they say this to this person to get this, to get a raise, to get to like the next position. And especially when you get into like leadership positions, like everyone's like kissing certain people's asses, and like I was like, I hate this. This is because I'm not that kind of person. I just want to like be by
Do my
myself, do
job,
my
do it well, right?
own thing, and just have a blast making like a fun cartoon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hate that kind of stuff. And I've realized that some studios are better than others with that. The best experience was working at a small studio.
Oh yeah.
Um, um, like it was like this little family like making this movie, and there wasn't politics. There was one guy who was like trying to like become
Make
a
moves.
yeah. I was like, dude, you're ridiculous. Like you're fine. You're just enjoy this experience. You don't need to like stir shit up.
God.
Um,
Like, why is that a thing? I mean, I was actually thinking about that because I because of the whole political thing, it came to a point, I'm like, do I even like leadership? You know? But then we started this game company with a few friends, coworkers that, happen to be into it as well. We kind of joined forces and partnered up and we're doing this. Like, you know what? No, I like leading. I just can't help it. I don't even want to lead, but it just happens. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. I'm not asking for it. It's just when you have a specific vision and you kind of I love organizing things, and stuff like that. So it just naturally kind of happens. And I've noticed we don't have political anything. We just want to get this thing done. So everybody just takes a piece of whatever they need to work and then we just get it done and we keep pushing it forward as much as we can. But when you work for a big studio, that I think what I realized is that there's more voices than just you or the five of you or six of you in a room. And I think the more people there are, the more opinions there will be. You know what I mean? And maybe miscommunication there'll be as well. And I wonder if that is the reason why there's so much politics in big studios, you know? And every person who's higher up than you needs to make themselves worthy of that role that they're doing.
yeah.
So they would make a comment, for example, in the meeting that maybe doesn't need a comment, you know what I mean? But I've noticed like some comments are great, by the way. Some like I felt like the executives at Marvel were phenomenal. Like a lot of the notes were like so point on. I was like, yes, thank you. That's amazing. But there would be a few that like are working under them, for example, that would say something that you didn't need to, you know what I mean? Or like some other person that is not even in that role would say something just to be heard. And they're kind of collecting points to kind of show that they are relevant, you know what I mean? That to justify their position in a way. But I think that's where the whole political maybe starts. I don't know. I've been just wondering that myself for a long time. And this is just in general in studios I've noticed, not even just Marvel. I don't want to single that, studio out, just in general, studios, um, the big ones primarily, that happens a lot. So yeah, just I don't know. It's actually one of the reasons why I want to do my own thing. I'm dreaming to do my own thing. And when I say my own thing, like to have a small studio where I can hire my friends, that have a similar passion, to kind of unite our forces and do something incredible. Because I mean, this whole thing with AI thing, and gosh, I didn't want it to jump into that, but I think that we shouldn't be worried about AI in terms of I think if this is the future, I think studios should fear of AI because you and I, Zach, we can make the movie together with the
Yeah.
help of AI. You know what I mean? I don't know what your stance on that, by the way.
Yeah, I agree. Because yeah, AI is it's scary, and a lot of studios are using it, so they don't have to hire as many artists right now. But yeah, like you said, we can make something like AI is going to streamline the pipeline, so we don't have
Yeah.
to hire all these departments. You could just get a few artists together, and you could make something.
Yeah, no, totally. And that's what I was thinking. I was actually had a lot of arguments with my husband. I'm like, John, like, we can we should utilize it. I mean, I don't know, like I am scared at the same time I'm not, because like this whole copyright stuff, there's that too, like who owns it. There's a lot of questions about that, and I'm curious to see where that whole thing is gonna go. But I know one thing, the people that are independent and they can go off and do their own thing will succeed no matter what. My only thing though is there might be a quantity of too much, like too there'll be a time when the market will be so saturated with independent movies and games and stuff like that it may be hard to weed out the bad ones. Like for example, when you go to print on demand Amazon books, for example, like I don't even know what book because there's just so many. You don't know which one is good, which one is bad. Like I would probably go with the one that has been reviewed or something for me to trust the product, you know? But that's like one of the things, the downtrend that I'm seeing with AI and how it may influence like this whole indie movement. Because I mean, honestly, there is going to be an indie movement, if not already, because there's just not enough jobs. There are not enough jobs. There's not enough projects. So people will adapt in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you say to students or people trying to get into the industry right now who are like kind of scared about this stuff?
Oh, it's such a hard question. Gosh, I don't even know. I would hate to be entering, to be honest. I would hate to be entering the industry right now. It's very it's uncertainty. I mean, they have been always uncertain, but I don't know, before I don't remember it being this bad. I don't remember it being so hard, um, this hard to get in. Um, there were not like I think in 2020 there was like during that COVID era. Do you remember how many jobs there were? Like we were having a hard time getting people. Like it was insanity. Like there was so much work out there, and I feel like we're correcting now. We're going back to what it used to be before. But this whole thing with how overpriced this city is, and I'm talking about LA specifically, and how it's bringing up the cost of living and the cost of just basic needs in the city. And the companies or studios, whatever they pay the artists or production, it's not enough to survive here. It just isn't.
Yeah.
And my main worry is where is this industry going to be in 10 years or 5 years? Because a lot of it is already leaving. It has been leaving to Canada and Spain, a lot of because of tax incentives. And I don't even blame them because who wouldn't take 60% off, you know?
Yeah.
But what does that mean for us? You know, that's what I'm like worried about. Like there are all of these talented new coming artists, that are drowning in loans. You know what I mean? Like Art Center is insanely expensive now. Like I got off with 100 something K. I don't even know how much. It's like, is it 200 now already? Like,
For the 4 years.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I know I've heard of people graduating with 200 grand in debt.
it's insane. Like you can get a down payment and buy a house, you know, like with that money. Like it's scary. Like it's scary to be that knee deep in debt and then kind of get into this industry that is kind of adjusting, and I'm honestly like I don't have an answer, but the only thing that I think I would say, uh, independence is trying to find other avenues to make money. Because the craft is, you already have it, there's other things you can do besides just visual development artist. Like you can do licensing, you can do um children's books, you can do make games like we're doing right now, like you need to find your path and not be stuck to just one thing, because it might work today, it might not work tomorrow, because there's so many people out there that are looking for work, but there's just not enough jobs. Am I being depressing? I don't want to be defeatist, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to defeat people from their goals. I'm the type of person, I'll just say how it is, the reality of it is that's what it is right now. Like I remember Netflix were just hiring art directors as artists. That
Hmm.
was like the thing that they were doing last year. I mean, this year. I don't know if this is going to be the same next year, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Who
I
knows?
think a positive kind of twist to that is like what I've been kind of telling people, if you're an artist, like throughout history of humans, there's always been jobs for artists. So
Yeah,
there's so many things that we can do, like what you said. Um, kids' books, TV commercials,
advertising,
yeah,
making
short
posters, stuff
films.
like that.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. It might not be as, I don't know. I'm excited doing games. I never thought it would be, but I'm excited about that. And I think that people just should feel their passion in doing what they want on the side and just keep looking, trying to get into industry, but like unite with your fellow other artists and find, somebody who does composing, to find somebody else who does programming, unite and do something wonderful, and I think that's the beauty of like be able to create. It's that yes, there might not be jobs and stuff like that, or not, like you basically are making a product out of nothing, and that's the thing that what excites me. You can make a beautiful character that can be an IP for something, for a children's book, that then can go to licensing to children's products, and then you can start pitching to other companies to make this product into a TV show, for example. It's just it's beautiful when you look at it in the way that you are the creator, and just never stop creating your own stuff, because in the end, um I think that would be the biggest payoff. I think for me, I like being independent. So
Yeah, I think that's super important. We all need to have a little bit of independence so we're not relying on, just working at one studio until we retire or whatever. And then, um,
because the thing is, like Zach, it's just that there is no there's no stability in this industry, at least not anymore. I remember in before, like I would talk to a friend, he's like, yeah, I've been a DreamWorks for 20 years. It's like, what? Like that is not a reality these days. Like, what? How can you even be the fact that I was at like a Marvel for like over 5 years is like, wow, like how? Because like honestly, like it's a project to project. It has become like live action. Before, like animation wasn't like that. Ironically, that was like one of the reasons why I wanted to go out to animation, because like I could be there like for like over 5 6 years, and just in general, like I would have like longevity. How do you say that? Yes. So, um, but yeah, I just feel like there's just no stability, especially if you're new, you're not as known. There's not, it's just not stable enough. So that's why you need to have side projects, side passions that you can rely on and work on when you're off, like, you know, so then basically later on, hopefully that little project of yours can blossom and become something. Like I have a friend like pitched a show and now it's being made. It's like, and
Wow.
that's exciting. Like what? Like that's what's cool about it, like you can create something wonderful and make something out of it, out of nothing.
Yeah. Um, do you have advice for standing out, like as an artist? Like I usually tell people, like there's always going to be someone who can render better than you, paint better than you, or better line quality than you. So focus more on your unique story or like something that's unique about you. So when an artist sees or when a studio sees your stuff, they're like, oh, this is something different we haven't seen before. Like this would be a good addition to our studio rather than being like a less good version of, like Paul was saying or um, Alberto or, you know.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's just really focusing on, what's like your personal story, like what's your unique vision of the world? Like where did you grow up? Did you take like a road trip that impacted you as a person? Like start painting those moments, create a story out of that. Because people will see that that's authentic and they'll be like, oh, this person's capturing this beautiful moment that's unique and different. And that I don't know. I think that's a way to
That's
stand
interesting.
out.
I feel like you're gonna laugh. Um, I you know, I think that to me, what stands out, I've been when I walk down the aisle at CTN or Lightbox, for example, it's funny, one thing I've noticed. I remember at CTN when Frozen was out, like that was the time everybody was doing the Frozen thing, like literally every single one. Oh, with those, cute girls, but like that was the thing. Now it's like a lot of the work that I'm seeing, it's like the same. Like Spider-Verse look, like they're very graphic and stuff like that. It's like everybody's doing that. So it's like it has a way of blending all in. And it's kind of hard to find that one person that really caught your attention because they just all look the same, you know? I guess what I would gravitate towards as an artist is, I guess, individual style, you know? Um, there was this like an old artist that I found. The way he does his like paintings, or it's some kind of like prints, like the way he does it. Like he layers like textures and he prints like that, and that's how he creates his paintings. There's a very interesting grungy kind of look to it. And I was like, damn, that looks so cool. Like I love styles, I don't like sticking to one style. I like finding new ones, and I like to be inspired by a traditional medium. Like I'm obsessed with watercolors. Um, I try to be like paint like Joseph Bookridge. I was freaking hard. But I give it a try because like I really love the way his use of values, colors, like even the grays. I found this beauty in like those subtle grays, that has like subtle hues to it, the bleeds and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? I want to translate this style into like digital way of doing things because that's something that I know how to do well. And I was able to create a new style for myself just for the sake of it. That was something a lot of fun, or like the pencil, coloring pencil texture, how it looks on paper, how would I imply that, how I apply that to digital medium. So like a lot of stuff like that, like being inspired by something that I see, even like fine art. like, and I apply it into my, so what I'm trying to say is that I think it's good to be able to do a specific style, like Spiderware style, obviously, because then you'll get a job there. But don't be afraid to explore other things, other stylistic kind of versions, that would it like kind of keep you satisfied and keep you inspired. Because it does, like, I don't know, my whole Instagram is all the same thing. And I'm kind of, I don't have interest in looking at other people's work anymore. I'm trying to look into like illustrators, old illustrators, that kind of gets me inspired now than the ones that are current. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think usually I tell people don't even think about style, just focus on having really, really strong fundamentals and study the artists that inspire you, like looking at old masters. Like, I like this artist for his texture. I like this one for brushwork,
Mhm.
edges. I like this one for color. So study that, focus on strong value and color, and then over time you'll like pick up on the things that you like from these artists, and you put that with your your own way of like going outside and sketching or painting, and then you create some new style through that. um and yeah, that would be unique, something different, hopefully.
Yeah, because like every time you do that, you kind of learn something new,
Mhm.
and you learn something new you kind of develop your taste. Because that's another thing. Like people talk about talent. I think taste is talent in a way. It fuels it fuels it influences your work and the things that you like doing. Like one thing that I'm into, I love noir lighting. I'm such a sucker for that. Like, those kind of cool graphic lightings and stage lighting, And I love that cinematic look, Like I remember like seeing like Blade Runner, for example. I lost my shit. I'm like, I can't believe it's so good. Or like, the Dune. Like, man, I watched that movie. It's like a masterpiece. Like every shot is so beautiful. You know what I mean? It's so beautifully composed. The colors, the design, like in general, like, God, would have loved to work on the movie, but but I love that stuff so much. And I have a hard time painting like moments for some reason, you know? I kind of always want to get that, like, I look at something industrial, right? Like this cool, very brutalist architecture building, I want to like capture that silhouette and put that into my painting, I love the shapes of the world that you can kind of put into your designs and stuff like that. And anyway, I'm digressing, but
No, that's interesting. So like when you, because I think I paint in a very different way than you. So when you paint, you think about the design of a specific building or structure, and then you compose it in a shot with elements around it that like complement. You're like designing the shot.
I guess for me, like the architecture is the character. I'm not that into characters, unfortunately. I'm actually trying to get into it more, but I just love architecture. I really do. And I love, like, I'm right now working on this location and it's like this very industrial. I built it in Blender and I'm kind of rendered it and now I'm kind of paint overing and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's very industrial city, it's very tech, and I'm adding like these big giant holes, like around it, and it's a very zoomed out cityscape. I just love like that type of stuff, like very like cool, badass. I just love that. it really excites me. Like I would not think of doing like a character moment. And I wish I did because I know that people like gravitate towards stuff like that. I don't know why I don't enjoy it as much. Even when I watch the movies, I always pay attention. I get mostly inspired by the shots of atmosphere and the buildings and like that mood than it is about the characters. It's crazy that it's just weird.
Well, that's your interest. I mean, that's cool.
I know that's like that's my taste, you know what I mean? And that's like something that I don't know, I just kind of I even like when it comes to music, Zach, I always liked very like dramatic songs. Like I always loved playing Beethoven or Bach, you know, like very like or Chopin's like, you know, those that type of stuff. It had to have this certain like mood, you know, for me to be interested in that piece. I never played happy music.
I I cannot. I don't listen to happy music. Yeah, I can't. It's either like really sad music, um,
Right?
like depressing, or like death metal or something, because it feels like real to me. It's like, oh, someone
Yeah,
has something that they want to like express. They have this feeling that they need to like get out, and they get it out
totally.
in this really emotional way, and
Do you
that
listen to
authentic.
do you listen to soundtracks?
Um, Ghibli soundtracks. Other than that, not really.
Oh
But I
man, I
think
have to
those are
send you some good soundtracks. I am going to send you some good soundtracks.
yeah. Send me some. What are a
I'm
couple?
gonna get you into it, Zach. The next thing you know, your word gets super dramatic. At least I'll know when you post the image I was influenced behind that.
Yeah, I'll tag you. I'll be like, yeah, thanks for the moody soundtrack. Are there a couple of good ones that you like?
I like all kinds, honestly, from classical to like electronic, you know. I even like, you know, I like rock too. I listen to Tool a lot, Perfect Circle, you know, like that type of stuff. When it gets a little too much into screaming, I'm like, I don't know, I don't get it.
Oh yeah, I don't like singing. I only like screaming.
I don't get the screaming part. Please explain that to me. Like, what's up with that?
It's just all that built up anger. You got to get it out.
But you can scream yourself, you
No.
know? It's not the same. But I gotta say, like, you know, Rammstein, you know, they had like such a great, like the rhythm, the bass, like, you know, like bands like that, like, or like the ones that are death metalish, they have great beats, and the bass is very, like, very powerful. You know, it has like this really cool flow to it. But as soon as they start screaming, I'm like, man, I just don't get this.
Have you ever been to like a metal show where they have like
Yeah.
pits and
I did, yeah. What's up with that whole cockpit thing where they start like hitting each other? For the first time when I was there, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
yeah,
Not normal?
yeah, it's very because I like grew up just like going to like metal shows and
Oh
moshing,
yeah.
all that. But yeah, to me it's just all about the energy. Like if you think about it, it's like energy, intensity. Um,
Mhm.
then it's because the screaming is kind of like off-putting to like people that don't kind of like aren't introduced to that early
Yeah,
on.
I guess I was one of those people. The Stalin-esque conservative did not transform. They didn't let us listen to that. I'm joking. Um,
Oh, yeah, my parents thought I was there. I was gonna have serious issues,
oh,
but
really? Oh, look how well you turned out to be. I'm sure it was a relief. That's interesting, though. I didn't know you were into the death metal stuff.
yeah.
Hey, I was always wondering when they like do that cockpits, when they hit each other and stuff like
Wait,
that.
wait, wait. Hold on. What do you call it?
I don't know how you call it.
I think you said cockpit,
Is that what it is? I don't know. I don't know how you say it. I'm sorry.
mosh pit. I was like, what are you saying?
Oh God, it's embarrassing. Yeah, I don't know much. But does anybody like take it seriously? Does it become like a bigger fight ever, or it's just like
Yeah, there's always like some asshole in one of those. Like I remember one um this guy he grabbed onto my shirt and ripped it completely off. So I had no shirt. And then the security called me and is like, "Hey, you have to wear a shirt." I was like, "I got ripped off." So I had to like go buy a shirt somewhere.
Oh my God, wow. That's crazy.
And
Jeez.
yeah.
That was the end of it. You would never go there. I mean, you still go to the mash pits and stuff like that.
Yeah, I still go. I haven't been in years, but yeah, I miss it a little bit.
Yeah. So you live in Utah now. I
Yep.
love your cabin, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I got sick of well, when the pandemic happened and we were working from home, I was in my shitty $3,500 apartment.
Oh my God.
Uh,
3,500 for an apartment?
yup. And it was in like the nice place in Glendale, nice area in Glendale. And it just progressively it got worse and worse. There was like tons of homeless people camping out, like shitting right in front of the door.
In the Glendale?
Yeah, yeah, right by like the mall and like that nice
Oh,
area.
that's nice. Really? Wow. I had no idea.
I was like, what the heck? This is ridiculous. I'm spending all this money and I've got to deal with this crap. Like it's not I almost got hit because in that area there's a lot of people with like uh BMWs like flying down the road. I almost got hit so many times.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Um and then I remember the grocery stores they just didn't have meat anymore. And
Oh, really?
yeah, they'd be like just out of meat and eggs. I was like, what the heck am I doing in California? This is unbelievable. And then the final straw was like I worked so hard one year. I made like the most amount of money I ever made. And I was like running my business, working full time, doing all this stuff, teaching. And then I saw what I had to pay in taxes at the end of the year. And is literally half of everything. Just
Yep. Yep. Just
no.
gone. I know. You're just like, you may even like work 500,000. It will not be that much.
If you make 500,000, you paid 250 grand to the government. So I was just like, all right, I'm out of here. So I moved to Arizona. I lived in Sedona for a while, which was beautiful. And just by doing that, I saved like 50 grand a year in taxes. And then when I was there, I was like, yeah, I want to be around this area. Like I want to live in the mountains in a cabin. And I found this place and it was awesome. It has a ton of land. Um, so yeah, I just live off grid. I
Are you
can
renting or did you buy it?
Hmm?
Are you renting or did you buy it?
I bought it.
Bought it. Wow.
Um,
How do you maintain all that area? I mean, by yourself.
I mean, it's just wild, like trees and everything. I I clean up like just around my place, like I cut the grass and everything, but really there's other than that, there's not any maintenance. Um, I'm on solar power.
Really?
Yep.
That's amazing. Do you have a battery to attach to it?
Yeah. Uh,
Nice.
so I got like yeah, really good solar system. Um, what else? I heat with wood only.
Mhm.
So yeah, this fall I've just been cutting down trees and splitting firewood.
Wow. Jesus, you're like you need to like have a YouTube channel that just like that. That could be your side project.
No, I should. Yeah, when Yeah,
How to survive as an artist in a company.
yeah.
I would watch it. No, it's amazing. Is it like is it so far away from the city that you have to have a septic tank, or does it have a line? Like,
No, it's septic.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I have there's no utilities or anything because I'm completely there's nothing connected to the city. Um yeah, so I'm fully like self-sufficient. If I hunted, I could just like get a turkey every once in a
Really? Do you
while.
guys have like turkey like walking around and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Things is that?
they're so funny, like the noise they make, and they do not care at all. Like they don't even realize that I'm living here. I'll just get up in the morning and I'll look out my back window and
Yeah.
there'll be like 40 turkeys just like all around.
God, dude, that's perfect though. Thanksgiving is coming.
No.
You'll save yourself a trip to the store. Did I actually tell you I started gardening?
Oh, really?
I got into this whole what do you call it? Like growing your food and stuff like that. It's one of my hobbies, I guess. One of many. But I bought these like nursery beds, and I've like now I get my own cucumbers. Like I don't even buy cucumbers from the store. I have like been eating zucchinis, and like I have like tomatoes that are, starting to ripen and stuff like that. It's pretty awesome. Like it's pretty cool to do to make your own stuff in a way. At
Mhm.
least you know there's no chemicals in it and you know what you're eating, type of thing. Can be more organic than that. But it takes time. Like how do you balance all, managing, you know, living off grid? Like what if you get snowed in and stuff like that? Like do you thought of, food and everything?
Yeah, I stocked up on food. So my freezer is full of steaks and got some canned food. Um, but yeah, my people around me, they say, sometimes we'll get like 6 feet of snow and you'll be snowed in. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
No concerts for you for a while, huh?
It'll just be just me and the cats just hunkering down for the winter.
But isn't it amazing to be like in nature? We we bought a house recently and it's away from the city. And it's kind of nice to be around more nature and less city. It's kind of has like this very calming, inspiring, honestly, to be around in. Like I could not believe your view is that mountain. Like really,
Yeah.
that's insane. Kind of inspires me to move at some point. I mean, I think eventually we'll all have to move because I just don't think unless California decides to give tax incentives to the studios and stuff, I think we are gonna.
Yeah. I heard I heard some rumors about studios considering moving to Nevada.
Yeah, because taxes
Yeah.
makes sense. God, fucking hate it. It's too hot over there. I cannot live there. I mean, God, please go to Canada. Not Nevada. It's too hot. Can you imagine working there like at 100 something degrees in heat?
Mm.
AC breaks down, I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown. It's just like I cannot have that. But really, Nevada.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. It just see those are the stuff that concerns me. It's just like we are gonna move. We don't know where we're gonna move.
Mhm.
Because I wonder what will happen with California in general if entertainment moves, the big tech moves. What else is there here?
Yeah, that would ruin that would greatly affect the economy there, and I think it would force government to make some changes and um like I don't know, cut back on, you know, like the state state income tax or something like that to like help the citizens out a little bit.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be I it will be catastrophic, I think, especially for LA. Because yeah, like who are they gonna tax, you know?
Yeah.
And I think like I don't know if this is unpopular opinion, but about this whole negotiation thing, I wonder if with the animation guild and stuff, I wonder if we could talk to the officials, the governor, and see, I don't know, like again, I'm not a politician. I don't know how the whole thing works, but I wonder if we can like do something tax wise. Like how can we help studios so they can help us in a way? Because I mean, they want to make money, obviously it's a business. Um, and maybe it will trickle down and there'll be more risk takers, because entertainment is a risk taking, business. You take a risk on a IP, you don't know if it's going to flop or it's going to succeed. So I get it,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
why they're making so many remakes.
Yeah.
um, yeah. So what was I going to ask? So I I saw your short that you guys did for, was it last year?
Yeah. Was it the Weta one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How was that? Like, how was that? How was it to work on something like that?
That was pretty amazing. They working with Weta, like we would do paintings, and usually when you're developing like a new look for something,
Yeah,
show like, hey, this is what we want to try, and then everyone gets super scared. They're like, oh,
yeah, yeah.
expensive, we can't. But with Weta, it was totally different. We showed them something, and they were the artists, the everyone there was really excited. They were like I like painted like the battlefield with like the snow and
Mhm.
tanks and everything. And the next time I met with them, um, they developed all these tools to get like my paintbrushes and to like have like stylized smoke.
That's
And
so cool.
yeah, everyone, it was so cool to work with people like that because past experience I've had, you're like fighting the
Mhm.
whole way.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're not doing that. We're going in this direction. But yeah, Weta was cool. And then I had no idea that it was gonna be anything, but it turned into like it won an Oscar and um yeah, so it's like
That's amazing. Congratulations.
yeah,
It must have
thanks.
been so rewarding to do something like that on your own, especially. Well, you were also able to hire the people you want to work with, right? Hopefully.
Yep, it's just like me and like two other artists, and we painted everything, and it was great.
It's amazing. Okay, when you do something like that, you'll have to give me a call.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I would love to work on something like that. Um,
Love shorts because it's like a movie or a TV show takes years to do, but a short you can just you make something and you're done in 6 months or a year. So
it would have been cool to see that whole thing as a movie.
mhm. Yeah.
Honestly, it's refreshing to see something different, because like there's so many, we're kind of in the age of remakes right now.
Mhm.
Um, I think that people are kind of tired of that. They want to see something fresh. And it felt like something fresh, like the subject. I mean, yes, it's a war thing and it's not a fresh subject, but I've never seen it in animation, and I think that's what's kind of that was really cool, and the style and everything was just really touching.
Yeah.
Really. Were you guys subcontracted by Weta?
The way it worked was um the director, Dave, he was a director at Pixar.
Mhm.
Him and his friend, a producer at Real Effects, they got the project and then they had a relationship with Weta. So they had Weta, they had a deal, and Weta was able to work on this, and then they just hired my studio to do the art direction and all of that.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's exciting to be something part of small thing like that.
Yeah.
It
How's
kind of
your game going? I think that's I wanted to talk to you about because I think that's super smart of you and like really cool to like have a side project going.
thank
Um,
you.
like you have this lull between work, so yeah, make something.
I'm having so much fun. I mean, I am still working and it's taking a lot of my time. It's just like um
You're freelancing on stuff and then
yeah, um I am, doing BG painting at the moment, not leading. So before I was kind of juggling multiple projects and it was really sucking up my time to do anything on my own. So I was like, this is actually a great time to focus on this. And okay, so we are working on two IPs right now. One of them is incredible. It's called Land of Myth. It's gonna be like this huge game. It's gonna be so many lands. Like it's a lot. And like the lore that John is writing, it's inspired, like it's kind of like you're like medieval, but at the same time very tech advanced. And throughout the whole game, you're trying to figure out what the fuck is happening. There's a lot of gods and mythos, and it's gonna be like a really cool game. We luckily found people through John was teaching, and they kind of clicked. So one of the guys knows how to program. We're like, oh wow, do you guys want to do collab and do like a game studio together? And we're like, sure. We're like, okay. So so now we're like, we kind of all are doing something like since I have a music background and I've been writing music, my I was going to be a composer, specifically soundtracks before. That's what I wanted to do initially. So I got a keyboard, I got my speakers. So I mean, I've been like writing soundtracks for the intro and just overall like, lands and stuff like that, which has been exciting because it's one thing to do the drawing or the painting of it, but when you're adding music in a background, you're like, whoa, this whole world is created. You know what I mean? Because like it just fuels it, you know what I mean? It gives that mood, it sets that mood. So that's very exciting. And like, some of the guys they do like modeling, concept art. One of the other ones does character design. We do still need riggers and animators, so that's something that we're gonna have to look for later. But we had to put a pause on that because it is such a big and very ambitious project, and being for like a starting studio company, it's a bit too much. And especially if we're doing it on the side, we'll never finish. So we need funding. And I had this idea before, and this is like, again, this is one of the things that it's important to do your independent projects, because I had this idea of this character years ago. This is like in 2017 or 15 or something, that I remembered. I'm like, hey guys, we can do a baby game, because baby games, they make a lot of money. Like baby mobile games, they're very easy to make. You can make them fast, and we can just see how it does. It may be success, it may be failure, but at least we'll have one game under our belt. We'll learn so much. So now we're focusing on that, and we're creating this kind of small game that is educational for little kids. Like, and my kids are basically are going to be my like employees, are going to try our games, give us notes, and it's perfect. Like it's a very girly game, and they are girls, so it's like it's perfect. The other day, actually, we did a trial. Like the one of the guys, he put all the assets inside, and like you can pick it up and mix and do stuff with it. Zach, it looks so good. It looked like an animated show like Disney show that is a game. Like literally. Like you look at other games for kids, they look so terrible and so generic. Like it doesn't have a character to it. And I guess the whole point for this is just to bring back the Disney kind of flavor to it, you know? And yeah, it's been like incredible, interesting journey. And I'm learning a lot about the legal part of it as well, which is exciting. It's overwhelming, but it's exciting. I'm learning a lot about trademarking and stuff like that. I somehow was able to trademark like a title of our game. Like it just happened. And apparently it was like it's really hard to do, and I got lucky.
Wow.
And I didn't have a lawyer. Like I kind of did it on my own. And I was like, I'm talking to a lawyer, a legal friend who's been gracious enough to help us out. She's like, how did you manage to do it? I'm like, I don't know. Like it just kind of happened, like, But I'm so excited that Land of Myth at least is now trademarked. Um, but now we need to trademark this other game. But yeah, it's just in short, this year I've had to learn a lot about the business side of things, like I'm sure you learned as well as you go about your company, the taxes, all the detailed kind of stuff about owning a company or running it.
Mhm.
So I don't know, are you overwhelmed by that stuff like that? Like, how do you learn that stuff? I guess would be a good question.
My business partner handles all of that junk that
Oh yeah. Oh my God, you're so lucky. I want to have a business partner who does that.
so I purely just work on making stuff and doing art because I that's what I want to do. I don't want to
Yeah.
worry about other stuff. Um, but
But
where?
there's something about learning about, like, I don't know. I just like John doesn't want to do anything with paperwork as well.
Yeah.
But there's something cool about it. Like it's exciting to learn on how do you how things work, how do taxes work? What can you write off? Like how can you like work things out it's just like, you know, I don't know why I just love that, you know? I might be crazy.
Yeah, I think you're crazy, but
But that's
um,
the thing though, you have to keep learning, you know what I mean? I think that's what it is. You kind of have to have like a bit of that curiosity in whatever you do, and like to question why, you know? I recently opened another company to freelance from, and I don't know if this is something I'm going to keep or not, but I wanted to try and see, will I save more money if I work through a company or if I work through W-2? Because through W-2, you pay everything into taxes. And then let's say if I buy a computer, which for example, Apple computer is very expensive, there's a limit on how much you can take off, which is what the cap is 20,000, which is nothing for us. I mean, we buy so much tech, for our work. It's just not enough. And I kind of got sick of that we have to pay that much and you can't write off. So I guess I wanted to learn how to, I guess, how does the system work? You know?
yeah, I think because I was looking into that, I think the problem is like if you are working through a company, the company isn't in the union, so a studio can't hire your company. You see what I mean? Because I've run into that, like my studio, we're not part of the union, so I can't like we can't do work for like Disney or Sony. We can only
Honestly, the big ones, for some reason, they don't like hiring studios in general. It's, but like Titmouse, for example, is open for that, which is surprising.
um,
But I don't know why studio. You're saying so if you were a union as a studio, they would have no problem hiring you?
yeah. Um, but because my yeah, how does this work? It's like you have to be in the union to work at certain studios, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
So you make a company that's not in the union, then you can't work for those studios.
but what if you as an individual are a union still? I wonder if that has anything. I wonder if that would count.
The money has to go to you. It can't go to your company.
Hmm. I'll have to find out.
That's what I was told.
Because
So
in that case, union hurts you in a way.
yeah, because I remember there was some workaround I had to do because I was like the studio wanted to hire me to like develop something. I was like, well, I have a studio. Can you hire my studio to do it?
Hmm.
And they said no, because your studio isn't part of the union. We can only hire union people. So I think they had to just hire me, and then um I don't know, I had to figure something out on my side to get help with my artists.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, see that's where it's just hard. It's like, it's just there's so much gray, in business and in life in general. It's like unions is beneficial, but in this case, it seems like it becomes an issue in a way, because then you can't really take off the taxes of whatever you buy. You can't take off the energy that you work from home. You know what I mean? And all that stuff, because there's a cap.
Mhm.
Uh, but I guess that's what I'm kind of interested in learning. Like, I think knowledge is power, regardless if you're an artist or not. Because the more you know, I think the more well-rounded person you will be. And you don't know tomorrow what you're gonna do, because like I think we're all kind of need to adapt to whatever the future may bring us. But
Yeah.
you're lucky you have a person who'll take care of that for you. So you have to...
Yeah.
I unfortunately have to be that person in our partnership because John doesn't want to deal with that. So I kind of have to pick that part up, and understand it better. And I'm just curious genuinely about it. So
I have one more question for you. I think I remember you saying you had rental properties and you're doing like a couple other things to like build wealth and
yeah.
you're responsible. Can you can you give advice or talk a little bit about some of the other things you're doing like with your money so you're like prepared for kind of these times?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, like when I was early on, I instead of paying off my student loans, I did decide to buy a property, a rental property. I was very hesitant to doing that. Luckily I listened to, you know, my family instead of like wasting my money on flashy cars and, stuff like that. I saved every penny. Sure,
Sure.
what that feels like. And I bought my first property. And I am very glad I did, because if if I would not be able to buy this house without that property. I guess in America, or I guess in the world, wealth builds wealth. And if you don't have the wealth, it's really hard to invest in anything because you just don't have cash, you know?
Mm.
So a lot of people, I mean, now that houses are so overpriced, especially in the city, I don't know what it is like for, in Utah or Texas, but I'm sure it's relative to how much people earn in that area, right? Income wise.
Yeah.
So I think, I guess if I did not, another thing that I want to get into, stocks,
Mhm.
stocks and crypto. I wish I did not sell my crypto. I sold my Bitcoin like an idiot before it became 70,000.
Yeah, it just went up.
What not? It's just like every time that stupid coin is going up, I remember when I sold it. I'm like, oh God, what an idiot I was. But and this is why it goes back to that whole thing, learning other things, but what you do. Because what we do is so niche, you know what I mean? It's hard to apply to everyday life, you know? You have to understand finances to be successful. It is a number one thing, in my opinion. I think you need to know how to make money, how to use what you know to make money. Um, but yeah, investment is something that I would be doing, and I'm thinking of. I've been watching a lot of podcasts on, finance and stuff like that. One of the, like, I guess he's a financial advisor, or like he worked for a stock market or something like that. He's been
Mhm.
saying what, like, just automatically in like buy Bitcoin or just whatever investment that you're doing, just set it on automatic and have it just buy, whatever stocks, or those not specific but general, like the groups of stocks, I guess. I don't know how you call it.
Mutual
um
funds like
yeah,
QQQ.
exactly, yeah. And just to kind of automatically invest, it doesn't matter if it's up or down. The odds are years later, like fucking Bitcoin, it will go up eventually, because the inflation will just drive everything up, in years. I want to follow that advice, and every time I forget, I put it off, and then I'm like, crap, I could have bought a part of that Bitcoin, and my money would be a lot more than it is now. you know? And yesterday when I saw that, the Bitcoin going up, I'm like, God, I could have just invested more, so it has become like a thing that now, from now on, I'm just gonna invest like $100 a week, or like $50 a week. Just put it aside, forget about it. It doesn't exist. That money doesn't exist. You know what I mean? And just have it go, and like let it do its thing. And then later on, you'll thank yourself for it, But I do believe in property buying though. I know there's some, financial advisors that say it's not about, like, you don't need to have a house.
Yeah.
It kind of doesn't make any sense. It's a physical asset. Like, how? Like, if you buy a house and you live in it, that's different from buying a house and renting it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How would you not, like, advise? Oh, it's a beautiful cat.
Being loud right now.
Oh my God. Does he need to be fed?
She is well fed.
Cynthia has like a black cat like that, and they look identical, by the way. It's like they're so beautiful, like their silhouette, like being like dark, and like it has like such a beautiful silhouette to it.
They go missing for like 3 days, and you're like, where's my
Oh,
cat?
really?
Just like hiding somewhere because she's black, so it's just like a shadow.
Really? It was like under your bed or something the entire time.
Yeah, she just hides under the couch or something. And
Oh, cute cat. That was so cute. God, my kids want pets, and I'm hesitant.
how old are your kids now?
4 and 1.
Oh, you can get them a cat. Cats are low maintenance.
But then, like, the hair and all that, I'm already like, dude, I'm like part-time cleaner. Like, my job is to cook and clean, and then I go to work. Can you imagine having a cat that I have to take care of as well?
Yeah, that's true. I couldn't imagine having kids. I don't know. I'd have to like half retire or something.
I'm retired from your like part-time job. It's a lot of responsibility. And I wonder, like, what do they wander off? Like, because I know cats are more independent, right? They like kind of wander off and then come in, right?
I keep them inside because I
Um,
can't let them out here. They would get eaten by a bear or something.
Geez, you guys have bears in there too?
Yeah, we have bears, mountain lions.
Do you have something to protect yourself with, just in case?
Yeah. I never leave the house without like a big knife. And I have a gun too. You have to have a gun here.
Yeah, because it's in that.
you'll get eaten by a bear.
Yeah, oh my God, that's so scary, Jesus. So you have to like always carry something with you. I can imagine you like wrestling a bear.
Yeah.
Imagine that's your lunchtime, lunch break.
Oh my gosh, that would be
Did I
so.
tell you that once I was so I got into drones, like filming, doing the cinematic drone shots and stuff like that. One day, the drone decided to land in the middle of nowhere. Like, and it was because the battery died. Oh my God, Zach, it was so scary. I was like, oh my God, my $1,000 lost. So I happened to, just like I happened to, no, like I got the coordinates, and this was in Lake Arrowhead, by the way, in the wilderness. So I had to track it down, climb up a cliff, and it was muddy cliff, by the way. And somehow I got it, and I looked down, and I'm like, shit, now I have to go down. And I didn't know, I was so scared to go down. It just reminded me of like, I can only imagine if this has happened where you are, and then dealing with bears on top of it. Aside from getting a drone and being on a cliff,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like, I don't know, man. Like, props to you. Big respect.
Um,
Do you have like drones and stuff like? Because you would have some amazing shots.
yeah, I don't. But yeah, I should. That would be cool. Yeah.
You'll
I'm
have to climb a
getting.
mountain.
I have a what do you call it? Like one of the hunting cameras that you just set up, and when there's movement, it
Oh,
takes.
really?
Yeah, I want to get a few more of those and like put them around. Um, because yeah, sometimes I hear like something eating something at night. I'm like, I wish I knew what that was.
Oh my God. Seriously, dude. That is so scary. Jesus. And
Jurassic,
does it freak you out when you're alone?
huh?
It doesn't like scares you when you're alone? No?
No. I don't know. I guess yeah, I'm not yeah, it's been totally fine. When I first moved up here, I had a problem with the solar panels and the Starlink, it wasn't connecting. And um I was running out of electricity.
Shoot.
So it was like pitch black, middle of the night, no no internet, no cell service. That was a little scary. I was like, okay, I'm very isolated and alone. And I was like trying to like climb up on the roof to like fix the satellite. And I got most of the way up the ladder and it was like really wobbly. And I was here alone. I was like, if I fall and like break my leg,
Oh my God,
I'm
Zach.
just gonna die out here because
Holy shit. That is insane. Wow. Gosh, we need to make a show for you. Survival of Zach Rent. Adventures of Zach Rent. That's crazy. That's so your internet is Starlink. That's the only internet that you provider that you can get.
yeah, it's the only option. Yeah,
Wow.
zero cell service, anything like that. So if it wasn't for Elon Musk, there I wouldn't be able to live here. I wouldn't be able to work here. So
Wow. What you probably should get a generator though, right?
yeah, um,
Because
yeah, I
just
don't
in
know.
case if you run out of solar energy, then at least they'll give you something, you know,
I
a
mean,
gen.
I updated the solar panels. I have like way more than enough.
Oh,
And I think it could be like pitch black for like half a week or something, and I have enough battery power to last. Um, so yeah, I even when there's like really overcast, dark days,
uh-huh.
the solar panels stay 100% charged all day. So they're like super efficient and um
I'm
yeah,
gonna have to ask you later what brand you're using and stuff, like
yeah,
for the future, because we use so much energy. I don't understand like our I just don't get it how we use that much energy.
yeah.
Like I hear people they pay like $100 and they get mad that they pay 160. I'm Like, what? We pay way more than that. How on earth do you like? I don't know how we use it. And I wonder, like if it's our screens, the computer, and all that, like it just basically consumes just so much. So I was thinking of investing into solar and to see if it's is it going to be enough for us, or is it going to be the same, cost wise?
Mhm.
Because there's maintenance and on overcast days they only get whatever you can get, right? But it sounds like yours is pretty sufficient even on overcast days.
Yeah. I think solar I think would work really well where you are because it's like very sunny like year round. And you can probably sell back the energy you don't use to whatever the energy company. Uh,
Yeah.
probably make money from it.
Oh,
And I don't know how it works in California, but here, a third the solar panels and the batteries, I get a third of that back, because of like a tax write-off. Uh,
mm.
so it's
Oh, that's really
less
cool.
expensive. Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
interesting.
so far, like I run AC all day in the summer. I'm like wasteful with energy, and I don't even have to worry about it. So
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah, in the future, when we have enough saved up, I would I would really like that. I think we need it because we have a pool as well, and water is not cheap, so the water and electrical is just it's too much. It really is. But yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Gosh,
Well,
it's been so great catching up with you. It's been so long.
yeah, yeah, I'm glad you're doing well. And What If was beautiful. I watched part of the first season. I need to watch the second season since you say it looks even better.
Oh,
So,
I know. Second season is a lot better than the first one. Thank you, though. Thank you. I appreciate it. The first one we struggled a lot, and we didn't have enough money, and the animation wasn't so good. The lip syncing wasn't so good. Because time and money. People don't talk enough on how like you or direct a movie, if it doesn't like I guess we don't talk enough on how much we can be crippled by time and budget. You know what I mean?
mm,
And that's something that I understood being in charge, that basically my time and money is what drives style, you know? It basically tells you what the style will be. If you have the money, you can experiment and do something, experimental and cool. But when you don't have it, then you just have to kind of think what's doable. And then you find cool looking styles that is doable within your, budget and stuff like that. So
which is crazy that you're even saying that because Marvel makes so much money.
I know, but again, like yeah, it's just, but there's always a budget, and it's that thing, do I want to risk on this IP that much money? And at that time when the first season released, Arcane came out, I'm like, holy shit, like what? Like what? How can we even compete with Arcane? Like it took them like 7 years to make it, and they spent like 20 million on like, was it first episode?
Wow. Yeah, that sounds right.
That was insane. Like that's a lot of money. Can you imagine what the rest was? But
It's a feature film each episode, basically.
yeah, we had the luxury of 7 years, Zach, for the first season. Oh my God, the things would have quit. But one thing I loved about our show is that it wasn't just one place. It was like, multiple locations. So you kept designing different things, like designing an alien planet, designing 1900, like 1800s, 70s era. It's cool to have diversity. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was fun to work on it. I'm curious to see what's going to be next for me. I'm curious to see what, I don't know if I want to manage or I want to be an artist, or maybe I'm sick of being an artist. What do you feel like you want to do? Do you want to manage or
If the project is right and if the people there are right, then I would definitely do it. Um,
funny? I have literally the same answer to that. Yeah, because yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that's
that's
such a big thing.
yeah, it's not worth the few extra dollars that they give you to do like all this extra work and stress. Like it's not worth the money at all to me to be like an art director or whatever. But if it's a cool project and I get to work with a really cool team and it's something I'm really passionate about, then it could be like the greatest experience ever and you get to like make something cool together. So
Oh my God, yes. I dream of that. I
yeah,
really hope, I guess, to be on a project that I really enjoy the people, I think in the end it's all about people. It's not so much about anything else. Yeah, yeah.
yep. Well, yeah, super awesome to catch up with you. Thank you for doing this because yeah, so many people like message me and they're like they they thank me for like these conversations and it helps a lot of people. So like I really appreciate you
I
taking
honestly, I'm just hoping I wasn't too negative on a few things because I would hate to, discourage from people doing what they love. I
yeah.
think I guess my biggest thing is just diversify, just
Yeah.
to be safe.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's negative. I think it's being real and you have to yeah, like you said, you have to plan for the future. You can't just put everything into one basket. Yeah, you gotta be smart about it. Don't spend every penny you make. Invest some, put
Yeah,
$100 away a week,
totally.
you know.
Yeah, man, there's so much to learn for sure, but baby steps and hopefully we'll get somewhere. My biggest dream is like, a lot of people, I'm kind of in between like would I retire or would I do some other like personal projects and stuff like that. But I hope that I never stop creating, because the workaholic in me, I think will never die.
I don't think like if you're an artist, I don't think you might like kind of like take a break from movies. You might retire from movies, but you're always gonna be like creating, making something, painting, you know.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's kind of art therapy sessions, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People pay therapists. I just pay my piano. And then my brush is basically my therapist. But no, thank you for inviting me on this podcast and or just in general catching up. I hope we, catch up at some point without the podcast. I want to ask you some other questions that are maybe a little bit more specific.
Stuff we
But
can't say online.
yes, gosh, I hope I didn't say anything. Can you please vet it?
Yeah. No, yeah, I make sure we don't say anything and yeah, you're you're totally fine.
You can cut this part out.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah, we'll catch up again and tell John I say hi and yeah, I'm
I'm
excited.
sad that you're so far. Like, we can't even go for a lunch or anything. Like, you're just like in the cabin.
Yeah. I am considering getting a place closer. Um
Sure.
like a second place and kind of like split my time. So I may be back soon.
Oh my God, that would be so cool. Yeah, that would be really well. Let me know when you're around.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pause the stop the recording.